Hey y'all, this is Theron West II, and this is the Be Ready anthem, y'all. I hope y'all ready. Stay ready, be ready, 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 stay ready. Every show, new face, new dream. Young man out here building a team from the track to the court to the turf and the rings. They all grown different, but they got the same theme. Putting in works when the lights not on. Late nights, early morning, still going strong. They don't do it for the lights, they do it for the fight. Future looking bright, cause they training for their life. So be ready, stay ready, 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 be ready, stay ready. Spotlight on them, time to show love. Brother smart and dream, all star from above. The hustle in their heart, purpose in their feet, and they voice on this mic that echoes in the streets. Every episode, no cap, no fake. Just young ones grinding, rising to the stage. Different faces, same goals. Rise above the pressure, yeah, holding goals. So be ready, stay ready, 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 be ready, stay ready. So put your hands together for my boys, Coach Tony and Carlos, for the Be Ready podcast coming on right now. Let's get it, let's go, y'all.
And we are live. Welcome, guys, to episode 115 of the Be Ready Sports Podcast, y'all. Welcome, guys, to episode 115. 15 episodes past the 100th episode, and we just keep on moving here at the Be Ready Sports Podcast. But before we start the show, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Here we are live on YouTube, so please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon so they get notified of when we go live. And also follow our Instagram, just scrolled out, at Be Ready Sports Podcast on Instagram. That is where we post sports news, podcast clips, anything related within the podcast will be on the Instagram. So follow our YouTube, like, share, subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell icon so you get notified when we go live, and then follow our Instagram at Be Ready Sports Podcast on Instagram. All right, y'all. So that's it for my talking. Now let's introduce our guests tonight. Let's introduce our basketball guest here tonight. Very talented basketball player. So let's introduce him on, y'all. Tonight's guest is a 15-year-old class of 2029 basketball player from the state of Georgia. This athlete plays small forward for Houston County High School, y'all. Yes, we got a high school athlete on this podcast, y'all. He is playing varsity basketball, and he is just a freshman playing varsity basketball. He was top 20 at the Phenom National Camp and defensive first team. He was an honorable mention for Region 2-5A and was a top 20 in the Adidas Junior 3 SSB All-American Camp. So now, please welcome to the Be Ready Sports Podcast, Keelyn KJ Johnson, y'all. All right, KJ, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. All right, KJ, so give me a little icebreaker by yourself to the audience.
My name is Keelyn Johnson, class of 2029. I play small forward for Houston County High School in Roanoke Rapids, Georgia. And I played for A5 South last year, but no AAU team right now.
All right, for sure. Yeah, guys. So we were talking about stage me and KJ, and right now he's a free agent right now, guys. So hey, any AAU teams watching? Hey, got a free agent right here in KJ, 9th grade. Plays varsity as a freshman, y'all. So very talented free agent for those AAU teams watching. So, all right, KJ, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Pleasure having you here, high school athlete. And hey, we have an interesting show here for you guys tonight. So without further ado, let's get started with our sports topics just to warm you up, KJ, and get ready for this show. So So we do this thing called ASN. Basically, all these events here, KJ, occurred on this day, but on a different year. So basically, these are all the events that occurred on this day on March 22nd, but on a different year. So first off, that first event right there, UConn, the Huskies, right now the number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. They hired Dan Hurley, who is the current head coach over there at UConn. He was hired on this day in 2018. He was hired on this day in 2018. On this day in 2013, number 15, FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast. If you guys remember that March Madness run with Florida Gulf Coast, aka Dunk City, they upset number 2 Georgetown on this day in the 2013 March Madness tournament. Dunk City, they went on to, I believe, as far as the Elite Eight. I believe they went far in their March Madness run. They ended up falling short to Florida in their March Madness run. But Dunk City was definitely something to be remembered in 2013. 2017, the United States win the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, U.S. They were here. They were in the World Baseball Classic Championship this year. They fell short to Venezuela, but on this day in 2017, they ended up winning the World Baseball Classic. 2024, 2 years ago, Yale from the Ivy League, they upset number 4 Auburn. They advanced to the round of 32. Yale ended up winning this one 78-76 in this game. Yale from the Ivy League upsets Auburn from the SEC. Loyola Chicago, the Ramblers of Loyola Chicago, they upset number 7 Nevada, and they advanced to the Elite 8. So they won in the Sweet 16, moving on to the Elite 8. They ended up winning that game 69-68, KJ. 1 point game. Loyola ends up beating Nevada to move on to the Elite 8 as an 11th seed. Loyola was an 11th seed in the Elite 8, which is very rare nowadays for double-digit seeds to now be that far in the Elite 8. 2018, the Buccaneers, they acquired Jason Pierre-Paul, defensive end from the Giants. Buccaneers, they acquired him on this day in 2018. Also on this day in 2019, number 13, UC Irvine, very good team this year. They fell short in the championship game. That's the reason why they were not in March Madness this year. They are playing the NIT, however, but on this day, they upset number 4 Kansas State on this day as a number 13 seed. And they advanced to the round of 32. They ended up winning that game 70-64 in that game in the first round. So they advanced to the second round. UC Irvine defeated Kansas State. Also on this day, number 11 Dayton, the Flyers, they upset number 3 Syracuse on this day. Dayton, the Flyers from the Atlantic 10, they upset Syracuse from the ACC. They ended up winning this one 55-53, KJ. Low scoring game in that game, the round of 64. But it was close the entire way. But Dayton ends up winning that game. Number 7, Wichita State. Shockers of Wichita State. They pulled out the shocker. They upset number 2 Kansas. They ended up upsetting a blue blood in Kansas. They ended up winning that one. Wichita State, they beat Kansas on this day in 2015, about 11 years ago. On this day, Providence hires Kim English. Kim English was hired on this day in 2023. However, he is not the coach. However, Kim English, he was actually just fired, but from Providence, I believe this year. And now they got the South Florida head coach, who was previously at South Florida, now is at Providence. So that's going to be the Providence head coach today. So that was on this day, 26. 2021, Elgin Baylor ends up passing away. Lakers legend passing away, Elgin Baylor. And then last but not least, you have number 12, James Madison. James Madison ends up upsetting number 5, Wisconsin. And we're going to talk about Wisconsin on this show today, about their upset against a certain team who was a 12 seed. So history repeats for Wisconsin on this year, this tournament. So, all right, KJ. So a lot of events on here. So which event on here looks interesting to you? Which one popped out to you?
2024 James Madison upset of number 5 Wisconsin.
All right. So why that event? Why that one?
I feel like Wisconsin, like every time I see them, every time they get a number 5 seed, they end up being upset. So I feel like that's a little bit of bad luck for them, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. 2024 they lose to James Madison. Now, fast forward 2 years later, they lose again as a 5 seed. So, all right. So, is that the only event that you see there?
And 2013 FGCU upsets Georgetown.
Hmm.
I remember them being known as Dunk City, but I was just three then, so I didn't really know that much, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but Dunk City, that was something to watch, KJ. 2013. I was around, but I didn't know college basketball at the time. But if you look back with the clips and stuff of YouTube, you Dunk City everywhere, lobs, dunks, like FGCU was highlight reel. They were highlight worthy back then, and they upset number two Georgetown, which is rare nowadays because of NIL and stuff. All the elite athletes want to go to the big time schools, but FGCU on this day upset Georgetown. All right. So are those the only two events that you saw as interesting?
Yeah, those are really the only two that really popped my eyes.
Gotcha. All right. All right. A lot of March Madness on here. March Madness will continue. March Madness continues on as we're speaking right now with the round of 32. Second round, winners go on to the Sweet 16. We've already had teams already clinched their spot in the Sweet 16. A few others are trying to clinch their spots right now as we're speaking. So March Madness is underway. So tune into March Madness and Sweet 16s. They should be going on Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday, those will be the Sweet 16 games. All right. All right. So now let's move on to the events the games that were played this year in March Madness. So let's talk about this one. TCU, number 9 seed TCU. They took on number 8 Ohio State in the first round. Very great matchup to kick off March Madness. Very interesting matchup. TCU led for most of this game. Ohio State took the lead late, but a TCU late bucket at the end ends up winning the game. Ohio State tried to respond, fell short. TCU advances to the second round, and they will take on Duke today. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on TCU beating Ohio State in the first game?
I mean, in my bracket, I picked Ohio State because I haven't really seen any TCU games, and I saw a couple Ohio State games. But I was watching the game at school, and at one point in time, I think TCU was like dominating Ohio State, and I was like, they already messed up my bracket. But then I checked, and they came back, so I was like, Ohio State might get it. And then I saw the bucket, and I was like, dang, sucks.
Yeah, definitely sucks, and definitely Ohio State TCU starting off March Madness. 8 and 9 is very tricky with 8 and 9 because both teams are elite, both teams have similar styles, and there's no really how do you say this like an outright favorite to choose. So I chose TCU on my bracket, so I was on the good side of it. Unfortunately for you, KJ, you are on the bad side of it with Ohio State. So right off the bat, your bracket got busted right off the bat. Yeah, but hey, it is what it is with March Madness. They get us every year, but TCU ends up winning this one in a close game over Ohio State. Ohio State had a very good team. Bruce Thornton, great guard from Ohio State. He was there for like 4 years, team captain. He's a great player for Ohio State, but just fell short with TCU. They'll move on to the second round, and they will take on Duke. But however, KJ, Duke had to work for the win. They had to work for the win against a Siena team they were the champions from the MAAC conference, the MAAC conference. When the tournament came out, being the college basketball person that I am, knowledgeable at like all the Division I programs, I thought Siena shouldn't be a 16 seed because I thought they were better than a 16 seed. I thought teams like Queens are not better than Siena. So kind of surprising how I saw Siena as a 16 seed, but I'm glad Siena showed the country why they are not a 16 seed and went toe-to-toe against the number one team in the country in Duke. But Siena had this game, KJ, and if you read that right there, that green wording right there, it says Siena had one sub the whole game. And that one sub, KJ, was when Duke was up, basically, when they were basically had the game in the bag. So probably, okay, so first, KJ, what are your thoughts about this, Duke surviving against Siena?
I mean, it was kind of weird because when I was looking at it and I saw Siena was up, I was like, Duke might be in trouble. But knowing Duke is a powerhouse. They got a lot of talent, so I knew they were gonna come back. But I feel like for Siena, that one sub really like that's really where they lost it at because I think a lot of people said towards the end of the game, their players like started getting real tired and lackadaisical. And Duke is one of the most like powerful and strong teams in college basketball. So if you have like maybe one sub all game, a lot of players start getting tired more.
Yeah, so true. And if Siena probably did more substitutions, they probably would have pulled off the upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those tires got tired. Those players got tired at the end, but poor coaching from Siena, and Duke ends up surviving this game because of Siena's lack of substitutions, basically. So Duke ends up winning. They end up winning by 6 points, as you can see there, KJ. They won by 6. And Duke, number 1 seed, they take on TCU. They already played in the second round. Let me see if I have an overlay for that. Let me see. No, I don't have an overlay for that. So Duke played TCU, as you guys know, and Duke ended up winning that one against TCU. So now Duke is in the Sweet 16. They're actually waiting for the winner of St. John's, Kansas, who's playing right now. So Duke, they're going to have to wait for St. John's, Kansas. But so KJ, so how far do you have Duke on your bracket?
In my bracket, I had Duke, I think Final Four or Natty, to be honest. But I had them losing to Arizona because I feel like Arizona is the best team in the country by far.
All right. Interesting. So Duke in the Final Four, Natty. All right. So for my bracket, KJ, I had Duke losing in the Sweet 16 against St. John's. Yeah, because St. John's is tough. Because St. John's, they're a tough team with Zuby Ejiofor and those guards from St. John's. I just thought the toughness of St. John's would overwhelm Duke, and Duke hasn't looked impressive. Obviously, as you can see there with Siena, they didn't look too good against TCU. So now if you're going up against a St. John's team who beat UConn, who beat the brakes off them one time, I believe, I believe so. Yeah, they beat the brakes off them in the Big East championship game. So I thought if St. John's played like that against Duke, I thought St. John's would win that. But I guess we'll see what happens, KJ. Can Duke beat St. John's? I guess we'll see. But they're playing right now St. John's, Kansas. So St. John's might not even make the Sweet 16. It might be Kansas. But right now, St. John's, they're up by 10 over Kansas. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. Let's just say that. All right, let's move on. Texas A&M and St. Mary's. Number 10, Texas A&M. They ended up beating St. Mary's. Basically, A&M this game, they took away St. Mary's shooting ability, and Texas A&M just took over in this game. They led the whole entire way. Texas A&M moving on to the second round. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on Texas A&M beating St. Mary's?
Every time I see like St. Mary's in March Madness, I don't ever pick them to win because I don't really see them ever do nothing every time I watch March Madness. They don't ever really do nothing. And Texas A&M, their defense, they run a full court press almost the whole game, really aggressive. And for some teams, that can overwhelm them.
Yes, so that is something I heard about Texas A&M, that they press, and that is something that can overwhelm teams and kind of look like it overwhelmed St. Mary's. So Texas A&M, they got the dub. And they're moving on to the second round. So Texas A&M. I don't know who they play.
They played Houston, I think, last night.
Wait, hold on. Where are they? I don't even know. But yeah, they did. Yes. Thank you, KJ, for that. Yes. So Houston plays Texas A&M, and then Houston beat the brakes off Texas A&M in that game. So A&M, they advanced to the second round, and yeah, so that's what happened there with A&M. They moved on there. But what a performance from this team right here. St. Louis, Robbie Avila, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That offense from St. Louis, they were moving. They were moving against Georgia. They were making their shots, and their offense was just overwhelming Georgia. And they had a huge run, and Georgia couldn't even stop him. St. Louis, they ended up winning by 25 points, I believe, 25 points or something like that, or I think so. But that's the score right there, 102-77. St. Louis, they look dominant. KJ, so what are your thoughts on this one?
So me being from Georgia, I had a lot of people thinking Georgia was gonna win, but I've watched Georgia a lot this year. They didn't really impress me, and people were thinking St. Louis wasn't good because they played no comp. But I knew St. Louis was gonna beat Georgia. So when I saw the score and they was like dominating Georgia, I was like, I told you.
Yeah, it told you. There you go. Yeah, I went for St. Louis as well in this one. I've been impressed. I've been impressed with St. Louis all season. They've looked very good in their conference. They lost in the conference semifinals to Dayton by a game winner. We showcased that video on our previous podcasts that we did. We showed that, and it was a stunning sequence. Dayton hit something, St. Louis hit something, and then Dayton hits the putback to win that game. But St. Louis, they ended up making it as an at-large team. They played Georgia, who been up and down, I guess you can say, Georgia this year. They haven't looked good, like great. They go up against a St. Louis team who has looked very good all year long. And here they are. They blow out Georgia in that game. So St. Louis advance into the round of 32. They ended up playing number 1 Michigan. And KJ, I don't know if you saw that game, Michigan St. Louis. So close game actually. St. Louis, Michigan. It was actually a close game, but then Michigan just got it going.
Just turned on the afterburners.
Exactly. Just outlast them. Michigan ends up winning that one. They move on to the Sweet 16. And Michigan, they KJ, do you remember? Okay, so Michigan will play the winner between Texas Tech or Alabama. They play tonight. So they'll play the winner between Texas Tech or Alabama. Moving on to this one. Texas. Wait, hold on. Hold up. Upset alert for Texas. Texas, the number 11 seed. They were a number 11 seed. They ended up beating NC State in the first 4 to advance to the round of 64. They ended up playing a BYU team with AJ DeBonsa. And Texas, they ended up winning this game over BYU and AJ DeBonsa. AJ DeBonsa, he had a great game, had like 40 points or something like that, or 30 points. Like he had a big game, but wasn't good enough to take down Texas. So KJ, so what are your thoughts on Texas moving on to the second round?
I was a little bit surprised that I had BYU winning, obviously because of AJ DeBansa. But when I saw the game plan and I saw like the Texas coach, he basically said he was just going to let AJ DeBansa score 50 and make sure nobody else scores the ball. And that's really what happened, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. AJ had a big game, but wasn't good enough to take down Texas. The team effort from Texas ends up being the factor in beating BYU. So Texas, they ended up winning their game. They pulled off an upset again, which we're going to mention later on with Texas. So Texas, they moved on to the round of 32. They played their game, and we'll mention their game once we get there. But here's this one with Virginia, UVA. They kind of have to fight for this one, KJ. UVA against Wright State. Wright State, the champions from the Horizon League, gave Virginia a scare, but Virginia ends up pulling away at the end. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on this one?
I didn't really watch too much about this game, but I knew Wright State was a good team. But Virginia, they showed me in the ACC tournament that they were going to pull this one out.
Yeah, Virginia definitely showed their seeding as a number 3 seed. They pulled away from Wright State. Wright State could have pulled off the upset, but the eliteness of UVA just pulled away from Wright State. So UVA, they ended up moving on to the second round. They moved on to the second round, and right now they are currently playing Tennessee right now, the number 6 seed, and they are down by 5 points. So UVA, they're gonna have to fight again for this one if they want to keep on going in the March Madness tournament. So UVA beats Wright State. All right, so now let's move on to this one in the first round. Utah State, the Aggies of Utah State, another one of these 8-9 rounds, 8-9 matchups. Utah State as a 9 seed ends up beating the 8 seed Villanova Wildcats. Villanova had a great year this year compared to last year. Last year they had a bad season. New coach comes in, new culture, new look Villanova. Going into this year, they looked good this year. They looked very good this year. Ended up being in the March Madness tournament, playing a Utah State team who kept this game close, but Utah State, their execution on offense and defense is what helped them win this game. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on Utah State beating Villanova?
I don't really see too much about Utah State, but I did see a lot of Villanova game, obviously. And they got a really good freshman, Caden Lewis, who I've been watching since he's been in high school. So in my bracket, I ended up picking Villanova because I thought he would lead them. But obviously, that is not what happened.
So you had Villanova win the whole thing.
Yeah. No, not the whole thing. I had them winning against Utah State and then losing.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, so Utah State ends up getting the win, but Utah State, they're going to be a dangerous team for Arizona. They're going to play Arizona next. They're going to play tonight, actually. They're actually going to play in a few minutes, 30 minutes from now. So Utah State, they're going to be a tough one for Arizona because their execution on offense and defense. Can that work against the number one team, Arizona? We'll find out tonight. Arizona team, we got Koa Pete, Braden Burries, and that Bradley, that those players right there, can they lead Arizona to beat Utah State? We'll find out tonight in the round of 32. All right, so now let's move on to this one. Oof, not a good look for Miami, Ohio. Tennessee, the number 6 seed, just blew the doors of Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio couldn't get nothing in this game, KJ. What put Miami, Ohio in this tournament did not work, and clearly they did not have a backup plan. Their plan got blown up by Tennessee, and they got blown out. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on this game?
When I watched Miami, Ohio in the first 4, they were shooting the lights out. And in my bracket, I ended up picking them to beat Tennessee because, I watched a couple of Tennessee games and they played big-time teams, and, it just didn't really impress me with nothing, to be honest. But I know towards the end of the season, they started playing a little bit better. But I had Miami, Ohio winning, and, yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, kind of surprising for Miami, Ohio, because I believe I had Miami, Ohio, too, on my bracket. Miami, Ohio beating Tennessee. But Tennessee when I saw Miami, Ohio missing shots and Tennessee able to score off Miami, Ohio's non-scoring, I just thought, this one's going to get ugly. And definitely got ugly, all right. So Tennessee ends up beating Miami, Ohio, and KJ. Miami, Ohio ends off the season, I believe, 31-2, maybe.
Yeah, 31-2.
Yeah, but very impressive record. So before we move on, so what are your thoughts on Miami, Ohio with that record, 31-2, just about the whole season?
I mean, I think it really shows the NCAA committee that lower schools now are starting to make a big come up with transfers, leaving big time schools and going to smaller schools.
Yeah, for sure. Indeed, Miami, Ohio, they were not projected as a favorite to win their conference. They were the number 1 seed. They made a story of themselves, going undefeated in the regular season. They obviously lose in the first round of the conference tournament, but they still make it to the first 4. They proved themselves in the first 4 by beating SMU, getting into the tournament. Then obviously we see the performance there of what happened. So will this influence, KJ, because we see a 31-1 team, right? We say, there's half people saying, they should be in because of their record, 31-1. But then we got half of the people saying, who do they play in 31-1? If you look at their schedule, it's like they didn't play no one. But then Miami, Ohio people are saying, we tried scheduling these big time opponents, and they basically just went ghost on us. So they tried, but they didn't get it. So KJ, so which side are you on? They're 31-1 and they deserve to be in the tournament, or 31-1 they don't deserve to be in the tournament?
I feel like they deserve to be in the tournament because you don't go 31-1 for no reason. You obviously got to have a really talented team. Doesn't matter what type of competition you play. And I know the High Point coach was talking about this when they beat Wisconsin, that smaller schools need to start scheduling big time schools, and a lot of big time schools start to deny trying to play smaller schools.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking about Arkansas coach KJ with John Calipari, I'm actually going to play a clip of his later on in the show when we get there, of him basically responding to High Point, how giving them appreciation. So, yeah, I agree with you, KJ, about this. Miami, Ohio, obviously 31-1. You got to respect that. Whatever competition it is, it could be low Division One. It could be D2, D3 team for all I know. Going 31-1, that's definitely very like impressive. Going 31-0 in the regular season, 31-0, like that's impressive to do like in any level. So I thought they deserved to be in there. And plus, this is not like college football where you have to put the 12 best teams in there. This is like 68 teams full of auto bids from these conferences. Who some of these teams who win the conference, are they really top 60 in the country? I don't know about that. Like would you put a team like Long Island as a top 68? I don't know about that, but that's the story for another day. Obviously, we're talking about your show, KJ, and obviously this is not a sports topic show, obviously, so we're not going to get right into that. But Tennessee, they ended up beating Miami, Ohio. They're playing Virginia right now, and they're doing good against Virginia. So we'll see what happens to Tennessee. So Purdue played Queens, KJ, and in that game, Braden Smith broke the all-time assist record set by Bobby Hurley for the assist record. He broke it in this game against Queens, and they ended up winning this game. So KJ, so what are your thoughts on this with Braden Smith and then Purdue's win?
Braden Smith, I feel like he's very underrated. For like small guards who are trying to get better at the game and understand basketball, I feel like he's a really good dude to study because he already knows he's not the biggest, but he finds ways by using pump fakes to get his shot off against bigger defenders, and he's just a true pass first point guard, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Indeed, the definition of point guard, to pass the ball around, and get everyone involved. And that's definitely what Braden Smith does by setting that all-time assist record set by Bobby Hurley, which was, I believe, 33 years old. The 33-year-old record was broken in that game against Queens. So Braden Smith, now the NCAA all-time assists record leader. And Purdue, they played Queens. They ended up beating Queens. And then they move on to the round of 32. They played today against Miami. They beat Miami. They move on to the Sweet 16, and they will play the winner, or they will play Texas next. They will play Texas next in the Sweet 16. So that'll be an interesting matchup between Purdue and Texas. All right, so let's move on to this one before we round up the round one. This blowout, KJ. Florida blows out Prairie View A&M. The reason why I want to mention this because the blowout, it was a 59-point blowout. I believe that is the second largest ever in the NCAA tournament history. They ended up being Prairie View. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on the Gators, Florida Gators?
I know earlier in the season, Florida, a lot of people were looking at them a different type of way because their two transfers, Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee, weren't really playing really good. But I know towards the end, they had somebody step up for them, and then that just helped Boogie Fland and Xavier to, skyrocket. And now Florida's been playing really good. And I kind of saw this coming because I didn't think Prairie View was that good, to be honest. And I knew Florida was going to beat them pretty bad.
Yeah, for sure, indeed. And plus, this game was being played in Tampa. The stadium was full of Florida fans, and they show up. Whenever it's a big game in Florida, and the Florida Gators are playing, they show up. Like prime example, KJ. I was actually in Sunrise for one of their games, Aaron Bank Arena for the Orange Bowl Classic, and when Florida played, that whole stadium was Florida Pro Florida for that game against George Washington from the Atlantic 10 Conference. But it could be whatever opponent it is, they show up. Gators fans showed up there, the national champs, reigning national champs, and I agree with you, KJ, about how their season went. So shaky start to the season, shaky start to the season. People were doubting if they can go back to back, but their ending of the season was very strong. One of the hottest teams in the country. Going into the SEC tournament, they ended up falling short to Vandy. They ended up falling short to Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament, but they come into this one in the first round, blowing out Prairie View, blowing off the doors off them, and they move on. They're playing Iowa right now. They're down right now against Iowa, but just the beginning, first half. We'll see how Florida does. So, KJ, before we move on from this topic of Florida, how far do you have the Gators in your bracket?
I think in my bracket, I had them Elite Eight. I just felt like they were going to come across a really good defensive team, and Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee were going to have another bad game, and they just weren't going to be able to do anything for me.
All right, so Elite Eight. All right. So if they move on to the Elite Eight, they'll most likely play a team like Houston, who is a very good defensive team, like what you said, KJ. And Houston, they could play defense, and plus the game's being played in Houston, 2 miles away from Houston's campus. So that's going to be a pro Houston crowd. Well, I know obviously Florida's going to bring their crowd, but obviously it's in Houston. All the fans are going to flock to the Toyota Center, and it's going to feel like a Houston home game. It's going to feel like a Houston home game. And definitely, KJ, that defensive team from Houston, they may give Florida some trouble. So we'll see if Florida can get out of the Elite Eight. That's definitely going to be a tough task, but we'll see what happens there. So we got 2 more things in the first round. KJ first. Let's talk about this one. Born again. Ooh, there's a horn for that one. The upset again. But this didn't seem like an upset earlier in the game. North Carolina, they were up 19 in this game, KJ. They were up 19. It looked like UNC was going to win it with that Caleb Wilson. But VCU ends up finding a way. Step back 3 from their star guard from VCU. And they ended up upsetting UNC. So, KJ, what are your thoughts on this upset?
This one hurt because I'm a North Carolina fan, so I had watched Daner the whole game, but I had stopped when we got up 56-37. I was like, yeah, we're gonna dominate them. And then I was playing a game while watching the game, and I started seeing VCU just slowly trigger their way in and back and come back. And out of nowhere, it was a close ball game. And when it gets to close ball games, and I knew we didn't have no Caleb, I kind of knew we were gonna lose this one because with no Caleb, him and Henry Vessar, they've had like a 2-man game a lot of the season because North Carolina's weak point this year, which is kind of new, is we didn't have any really good point guards for real. Like Steph Trimble is a really good guard, but he can't really shoot. So us having no guards this year really kind of hurt us. And Caleb would, most of the time do most of the work for us. But this one hurt a little bit.
It definitely hurt some people's brackets. Not my bracket though with VCU. I ended up picking this upset, KJ. So my bet on my end, but VCU ends up winning this over UNC. They ended up going back by 19 points to win this one. UNC falling short, but however, KJ, have you heard what's going on with UNC and the Hubert Davis going on? So, what's your thoughts on that, Hubert Davis? His future.
I've been hearing a little bit about him might be being fired. And I mean, he's a really good coach, in my opinion. Like, I know at North Carolina, it's a lot of like family. Like, when they hired him, he had ties with our previous coach. But at North Carolina, you can't go from 1 year losing off like then you're a game winner against Kansas to not making it to being bounced back-to-back in the first round and then losing this time. At North Carolina, this is a prestigious school, and if you can't keep up the winning, then sorry, you got to go.
Yeah, very prestigious school indeed, blue blood. Obviously, blue blood is another category in itself in college basketball, and obviously UNC is held to a higher standard compared to these other schools. And UNC, obviously what's going on throughout the years from what you said, KJ, obviously definitely very unacceptable. But we'll see what happens there. It's uncertain, so we'll see. Will he be out or will they work something out? We'll see what's going on over there in Chapel Hill. But the main story here in this first round, let's play the horn again. I'm telling, but you guys know what I mean. Upset alert. High Point from the Big South. They finally get it done this year. So basically, KJ, High Point was in the tournament last year. They played Purdue. They fell short in a game that they could have won. They could have won the game against Purdue last year. Had a great season this year. I believe I've been following High Point since last year. Because of their season, their trajectory. Now I'm like, I'm gonna see how they do in this March Madness tournament. So I've been seeing them all season, their success, and I'm like, okay, this might be the year that they get their first round win. So I see the opponent that they play, Wisconsin. I'm like, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's been a team that's been dangerous. With it seems like Michigan, they even beat Michigan at Michigan. So I'm like, I don't know, because Wisconsin, they've been giant killers. They've been giant killers giving these big teams a scare. But I'm like, no, High Point, they got to get it this year. Whatever opponent it is, they got to get it done this year. And I actually had High Point with beating Wisconsin in my bracket, and they ended up pulling off the upset. Chase Johnston, we're going to play a few clips of him in a bit. But KJ, first, I'm going to get your reaction to this. What's your thoughts on this?
In mine, I had Wisconsin winning because I knew the point guard, the setup that they had with the two guards. I knew it was a really good guard setup. But once I saw High Point, I can't remember what his name was, but he came down with like 25 seconds left on the shot clock and dang near shot it from half court. I kind of knew High Point was going to win because the amount of confidence and, the flow that you got to be in to shoot that from that far, I knew High Point was going to win.
Yes, indeed. He goes by the name of Chase Johnson, and now I'm going to play this clip of basically his highlights of the game. So here's his clip.
By Johnston. Martin leaves it for Johnson, a mile out. Got it! A Zerbiak three.
A logo three from the NCAA. He's been wearing it on his entire wardrobe. That last huddle, he came screaming to his team saying, they're tired, we're tired, suck it up, suck it up.
1 minute. Johnston got it! Second half, and he got inside again, but he missed the shot. High Point's got the rebound on the outlet to Johnston. And his first two-pointer of the year gives High Point the lead. Cleared off by Johnston.
And yes, you guys heard that right. That is his first 2-point attempt of the year, KJ. Out of 30-plus games in a season, that is his first one, and then ends up being the game-winning layup. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on that clip from Chase Johnston?
I mean, as you can see, knockdown shooter. I kind of felt like that was weird that was his first two all season, and I think he only took 4 twos from that season. But if you're a 3-point shooter and your job is to shoot threes, then you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, for sure, indeed. And got in the fast break, and when you go in that fast break, KJ, obviously when you're in his position, you better make that shot, or else, all heck is gonna break loose. And he made the layup. And so KJ, so how would you feel being in his position, catching that fast break layup? Like, what would be going through your mind?
Fast break layups, a lot of basketball players, that's kind of a scary sight for them, especially with somebody behind them, and it's a game-winning layup. But I just shoot it like a normal layup. To be honest, it's basketball. Can't think about it too much.
Gotcha. All right, yeah, pretty good mindset. Good mentality. Yes, obviously you can't think about it. You just gotta go. You just gotta go, and he thought about that. Just gotta go. Got that layup and ended up winning the game for High Point. High Point ends up being Wisconsin. They move on to the second round, and they play Arkansas. We're going to talk about that game in a little bit. But now let's move on to the second round games. Nebraska and Vanderbilt. What a finish to this game, KJ. So as you guys can see there, Nebraska, they move on to their first Sweet 16 in school history. They end up winning, but it took a long sequence. So obviously, Nebraska, they got that late second layup. Vanderbilt had a chance. So Vanderbilt gets the ball from out of bounds, and this happens. So let me play the clip of that shot.
Catches it deep. Vanderbilt, no timeouts. Half court heave. Oh! Tanner in and out. And Nebraska is on to the Sweet 16.
Crazy, KJ. And so what are your thoughts on that clip?
Being in that position for Tyler Tanner, that sucks. Like almost making a full court heave to take your team to the Sweet 16, but sometimes you just fall short. But when I was watching this game, I felt like this is probably one of the best games we've had all tournament because it was back and forth dang near the whole second half. But it was kind of weird to me. it really felt like an away game for Vanderbilt because there were so many Nebraska fans that took over the stadium.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So probably the best atmosphere throughout this first round was in Oklahoma City with these Nebraska fans. So, KJ, they mentioned this on the broadcast. So, you know what decibels are, right? Like measurement of sound. So they calculated 115 decibels for one of the plays. So that's pretty high numbers. So I searched it up. What is the equivalent of 115 decibels? And basically, it's like the equivalent of a loud rock concert. So that's how loud it was over there at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City. And plus, KJ, it was 6 hours away from Lincoln, Nebraska, which is their campus, to Oklahoma City. So it's 6 hours. So I'm pretty sure they're hardcore fans driving from Lincoln to Oklahoma City. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, when you have fans like that travel with you and are there for games, I feel like that's a big time advantage for teams to win. So when I heard they had that many fans over there and I saw it, I was like, yeah, Nebraska might have this in the bag.
They did indeed in Nebraska. Will be going to their first Sweet 16 in school history. They will play the winner between Florida or Iowa. That will be their next opponent, Florida or Iowa. Let's move on to this one. Another upset. Another upset in this tournament, KJ. Texas, number 11, they strike again. Number 11, Texas. They ended up beating number 3, Gonzaga. They ended up beating Gonzaga in the second round. Texas, they just beat Gonzaga. Their team, basically the same way how they played against BYU. They brought that same intensity. They brought that momentum from that BYU game, and they ended up beating Gonzaga. And they will move on to a Sweet 16 as a double-digit seed. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on that?
I didn't really watch too much of this one, but Gonzaga, I haven't seen that much of them, but Gonzaga the last couple of years just haven't really been to their standard of how they usually play. And Texas, the team environment that they use and the team collectiveness to win games, I felt like they were going to end up beating Gonzaga, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure, indeed. And Texas, so Texas, they ended up pulling away by a last-second shot by Camden Hyde, who, by the way, KJ, Camden Hyde, if you look at his stats, that three-pointer that he shot at the end of the game to help Texas pull away, that was his only made three-pointer of the game. Only made three-pointer of the game. It ended up being a very crucial one. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, really how it is kind of in street ball. Some dude can have a really bad game, but he can mess around and hit the game winner, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, these coaches tell you keep shooting, and it might fall in that last second. So he ends up making that shot, and Texas moving on to the Sweet 16. The Longhorns, they move on to the Sweet 16, and they will play number 2 Purdue in the Sweet 16. So we'll see if they can pull off another upset, but it's gonna be against a tough Purdue team. So we'll see what happens there. All right, last topic, KJ, before we get into your Q&A here, is this one: Arkansas, High Point. Arkansas ends up winning this game over High Point. High Point kept this game close. Darius Acuff ends up taking over in this game. And Arkansas ends up beating High Point. They end up surviving this one. So, KJ, so what are your thoughts on Arkansas beating High Point?
I mean, Darius Acuff is, in my opinion, he might be one of the best players in college basketball. I know Darren Peterson and AJ DeBanza, but being Darius Acuff's size and being able to attack the basket that easily and make the game look as easy as he does, I feel like that should make him the best player in the country. But I knew High Point was going to play this team to play Arkansas close after they beat Wisconsin, and I knew High Point was a really good team. But I felt after the SEC championship when Arkansas won, I feel like Arkansas was gonna make a deep run.
Yeah, Arkansas indeed. They looked impressive. Darius Acuff taking over when Arkansas was close against High Point. He took over that game, and definitely, I agree with you, KJ. He's one of the best players in the country. Definitely a lottery pick for next year's NBA draft if he goes, because obviously he's a freshman, and he has a decision to make whether he can stay in college or he can go to the NBA. So obviously his decision. He's a freshman, so we'll see what happens there. But he's definitely going to be a high lottery pick in this year's NBA draft. But Arkansas being in High Point, and John Calipari post game has some words about High Point, some positive words though, positive words about High Point, and I'm allowed. I'm gonna elaborate it later after the clip of basically what he's saying. So here's the clip.
And I said, and I bragged on High Point because they have a president that is about those students. That's everything they do is about those students. You know what? They're empowered. They're students. Flew them out in a plane. How many came on a private plane, chartered? I'm going to ask him, can he charter me somewhere? But again, I love to see it, and it proves my point. Administrations win championships. Coaches win games. In this era of NIL and all the other stuff, I'm telling you, if you're not totally into it and they're not committed, you're not winning now. You just can't. And High Point is. And I'll tell you, everybody down there wants to go to High Point. I had a guy that listened to me talk and said, my son's trying to get in. He probably won't be able to get in now. It is a great school, a great campus, and I'm just happy we were able to sneak out a W for these kids so we can keep playing.
All right, so KJ, so what are your thoughts on that clip right there from John Calipari?
I feel like he was right about that. If you don't have a program that's committed to about your students and your people, then you won't really go far.
Yes, definitely so true indeed. So basically he said something about chartering a plane. Yes, High Point, they ended up chartering students from High Point, North Carolina, KJ. So basically High Point University is from North Carolina. Beautiful campus. And they do something that's different from all these other campuses around the country. Like, they teach life skills. And plus they have on their dining thing, like when you pay like for food and stuff, like during your tuition in college, like they have a free thing on there that's about fine dining etiquette. So basically they can eat free at like at a steakhouse or a steakhouse on campus. They have KJ, what's one of those things that they cook in front of you or something?
Like hibachi. Like
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So High Point has one of those too. So High Point, they're very rich, definitely very rich, and definitely very, how do you say this, life skills pro for these students that go there. And they definitely want them to learn fine dining etiquette because they have the students can eat free at a steakhouse or free hibachi and stuff like that. And High Point, they're definitely a great university. And when John Calipari said the president basically funding that charter flight for those students from North Carolina to fly across the country to San Diego where they were playing at, that is just something huge. And something, KJ, you mentioned about being committed, these schools. President, AD, general manager, coach, all of those people got to be in one vision. If they're not in one vision, then you're not going to succeed nowadays in NIL. So obviously NIL, that's huge nowadays, KJ, because now you're going to enter that realm of college sports with NIL. And obviously there's going to be general manager, obviously, organizing with NIL stuff. If they're not all on the same page, then you're not going to succeed. And High Point, they're doing really good at that. That's why they're back-to-back Big South champs, back-to-back in the March Madness tournament. And that's something that I've been proud of High Point now. And I believe they're going to be a dynasty coming for that Big South conference. Okay, just so what are your final thoughts about all this, about High Point or like March Madness or itself?
I feel like this year's March Madness, it was better than last year, to be honest. There's more upsets. There's more smaller schools putting in bigger fights instead of like just getting destroyed. We have smaller schools now with the NIL playing really hard and trying to beat big time schools.
Yes, sir, indeed. March Madness continues. They're playing tonight, and that Sweet 16s will be on Thursday and Friday, and then we'll see what happens there with March Madness. All right, KJ, are you ready for your Q&A?
Yep.
All right. All right, now's your turn, bro. Now's your turn. Now we get to know about you. So, KJ, what inspired you to play basketball?
My parents and trying to give back for what they've gave to me my whole life, and really the grind that it takes to be committed to play basketball.
Gotcha. All right. So, which side of the ball you like playing better, offense or defense, and why?
Defense for sure. Because say sometimes you're having a off night, but you go guard the best player on the other team, and you make him have an off night, and you win the game. That can help impact your team win.
Yes, so true. And plus, when I was listening to the broadcasters, like Charles Barkley and then those people at the studio over there at CBS, they mentioned something that there's a difference between a good player and a great player. A great player knows how to impact his game when his strength is not working. Like he finds other ways to impact the game. And KJ, I definitely agree with you about hey, if you're off in the offense, you got to impact the game somehow. And impacting on defense definitely separates you from a good player and a great player. So, good answer, KJ. Great job. So, what is your favorite part about playing basketball and why?
Definitely the grind and the work aspect, but also I really love away games. I like being a villain. I like being on the other side.
So you like away games. All right. So why? So why away games?
Like when the crowd is against you and you hit a big time shot, and you can. I like to talk a little smack, so you can turn around and say something to them. I like that part.
So how are those crowds over there in Georgia high school basketball? Like how are they?
In our region, hostile. Lee County, small gym, hot, people on your neck.
Hmm.
It's just a real good environment.
Definitely. All right. Sounds interesting. Very interesting. All right. So what is your least favorite thing about playing basketball and why?
Definitely conditioning. I mean, I know you need conditioning, but nobody likes conditioning, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Conditioning comes with basketball. So unfortunately, players may not like it, but it's obviously got to be done. So, all right. So what are your strengths as a basketball player?
Definitely my ability to attack the basket, use my body and my strength to get downhill and score, and definitely being able to catch and shoot.
Gotcha. Okay, so all right, so you can catch and shoot from the three, right? Catch and shoot from the
Yeah.
three and drive. So where's your favorite 3-point shot to shoot?
Definitely corner. I love the corner.
Gotcha. All right. So what is something that you want to improve on in your game?
Definitely my ability to score off the dribble, not picking up my dribble too soon, and being able to have a secondary move when the defense cuts off my first one.
Gotcha. All right. Okay, so very important question here. I only ask this to my high school athletes that come on this podcast. So very new question here. What makes you attractable to college coaches?
I feel like my work ethic makes me attractable, and my ability to take hard coaching and improve from my mistakes.
Gotcha. Very important. All right. So what are your long-term goals as a basketball player?
Definitely to leave an impact in my community and be remembered. Play at a Power Five college, Villanova, and hopefully make the NBA.
For sure. All right. Villanova, great history. Obviously, we know about the Nova Knicks, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, that squad. Obviously, KJ, you know about Chris Jenkins, that shot against UNC that's still remembered to this day. All right. So what are your thoughts on that? Because, you like UNC, but you want to go to Villanova. So, what's are your thoughts basically?
Like to be going to UNC, they recruit a lot of big time 5 stars and 4 stars. And Villanova, they recruit big time 5 star and 4 stars, but they also go after smaller star players. But to be honest, I'm gonna go where I'm wanted, where I know I can get playing time and show my skills. And that shot still haunts me to this day because I didn't think he was gonna make it, but he did.
Definitely one of the greatest shots in March Madness history. Still lingers to this day. Back in 2016, I believe. Yeah. 10 years ago. Wow, that's insane, and they still talk about it to this day. But Villanova, great school to go to in the Big East Conference. A lot of comp in that conference. You got UConn, St. John's in that conference. Very competitive conference. All right, KJ. So, what drives you to keep going?
Definitely my mom and my dad, pushing on me, trying to make me a better person, and just the work that knowing that someone could be working harder than me makes me want to push harder.
Gotcha. All right, all right. So, who do you idolize your game to?
Definitely Paulo Banchero for the Orlando Magic because he can attack the basket, super strong, get downhill, and can create a shot off the dribble.
Paulo Banchero, elite player for Orlando. That's their franchise guy over there in Orlando. He big time. So, what is your favorite NBA or college basketball team and why?
My favorite NBA is the Lakers. My favorite college basketball is obviously North Carolina. I like the Lakers really just because of LeBron. I've always been a LeBron fan since I was young. And North Carolina, my dad is a North Carolina fan, and I remember being young watching North Carolina games with him. It kind of just stuck with me.
Gotcha. All right. So, what advice would you give to middle school athletes who would like to play high school basketball?
I'd say just fall in love with the game, be in love with the work ethic, and being able to work hard. Be coachable, be able to take hard coaching, and be ready to take a new role because in middle school you definitely be the man, and if you're playing varsity, you definitely were the man in middle school. But a lot of varsity teams that are good, they already have their guys, so you got to find different ways to impact the team and be able to get on the floor.
Yes, so true indeed. So, obviously, we interview a lot of eighth graders and seventh graders, a lot of class of 2032, 31s, and 30s, right? So, we interview like a lot of those, KJ. And so, 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 what would you say to those kids that want to play varsity, like straight off the bat as like a freshman? What do you say about that?
Just be ready. It's a hard grind. And if you don't make it varsity off the rip, but you're playing JV and they let you like actually score for real and play how you want to play, I think that would be better than just playing straight varsity off rip and really having to play in a different play style. But if you play JV and they let you play how you want to play, then that can help your development.
For sure, indeed. Yeah, for sure. Yep. So, what do you do to mentally prepare for a game?
I listen to a lot of music. I don't really listen to rap music because that just makes me a little riled up a lot of times, but I listen to a lot of Drake before games because Drake just kind of calms me down.
Drake, gotcha. So, and is there any favorite Drake song that you like listening to?
Definitely, it's this unreleased one by Party Next Door and Drake. I think it's Keisha or something. I listen to that one almost every game.
Gotcha. All right, all right. So, if you could meet any sports athlete, basketball, football, soccer, literally any sports athlete, who would it be and why?
Definitely LeBron because I would want to pick his mind off what he sees on the floor, what he does to keep his body in good shape, as in his like 25th year and still playing at a high level.
Crazy, right? Like he's like 24, 25 years in the NBA. That's like nuts. Crazy. So, besides basketball, what other sport would you like to try and why?
Definitely football because I have a football background. I used to play football when I was younger, and I have a football body, so I'm built a lot for football.
Gotcha. All right, all right. All right, last question. What are your favorite hobbies slash interests to do outside of basketball?
Definitely playing 2K with my friends and my basketball teammates. Spending time with my family, doing family activities, and definitely working out, getting better at basketball.
Gotcha. All right, KJ, that was the Q&A session. Very informative answers. Very good Q&A session. All right, KJ, so now let's get into your show and tell. So, do you have any medals, any trophies that you have around you that you want to showcase?
Yeah. So this one I won a couple years back, and for being one of Georgia's best of the best middle school athletes at the All-Star Showcase in Atlanta.
All right, all right.
I got this one for being top 40 in the Elite 60 Showcase in Atlanta, which is basically the best players in Georgia come up in middle school to play in that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I got this year for being an honorable mention as a freshman for Region 2 in 5A.
Gotcha. Honorable mention. Okay.
This is the middle school one of my favorites. I got the 3-sport award for being one of the best athletes in my middle school, and winning this All-Star Game MVP in the 7th grade.
All right, that's tough. All right, so that's it. That's it.
Yes.
That's tough. Hey, some great awards there, KJ. Great job. Great awards. Great awards. All right, so now let's get to the second portion of show and tell, which is your pictures. But before we do that, we have a little contest going on. So basically, during our 100th episode, we had a contest basically of the best overlays, and this was the winner right here. This is Tate Medina from Texas, football player in middle school. This was his picture for Media Day. So KJ, how would you rate this 1 out of 10?
This is hard. I'd rate this 9 out of 10. I like this picture.
All right. Yes, definitely a tough photo there. That was actually the winner of the 100th episode thing. So now we created a new one for the 200th episode, which is about, if you do the math, that's about 75 episodes away. So obviously still a long way to go, but we have a lot of overlays that we want to show. So here's the first one, Landon Avery, former guest on the show. So KJ, how would you rate this 1 out of 10?
I like this one holding up the trophy. I'd go 8 out of 10 right here.
All right, 8 out of 10. Okay. A white 8 out of 10.
I like the shoes. Shoes make the jersey pop.
Gotcha. Yeah. Definitely the cleats definitely pop out indeed. That neon green, that's tough. All right, so now this is Carter Penn. This is his middle school picture at the CP3 combine. So KJ, so how do you rate this 1 out of 10?
Definitely 9 out of 10 because I played the CP3 middle school combine 2 years in a row. I like that camp.
So how was it playing at the CP3?
It was really fun playing some of the best players in my class.
Gotcha. You're definitely biggest combine there for middle school basketball. And Carter Penn was a part of that. So that was his picture. And now let's move on to Parker Floyd. This is his picture right here. Parker Floyd. So KJ, how do you rate this 1 out of 10?
Definitely, I go 8.5 out of 10. I like the action shot, and I like the hardens he got on right now.
Gotcha. All right. So now let's move on to Tice Hamill, former guest on this show, basketball player from the state of Texas. Shout out to Aiden, his cameraman that took these next 2 photos that we're going to show. So this is his picture in game. So KJ, so how would you rate this 1 out of 10?
I'd go 9 out of 10 because I like the Kobe's he got on, the Think Pink Kobe 6s. I like them.
Gotcha, 9 out of 10. All right. So let's move on to the second picture. I think basically from the same tournament, same game. So KJ, how would you rate this 1 out of 10?
9 out of 10 again. Really just go for the Kobe's, to be honest.
Gotcha. So just for the shoes. Gotcha. All right. Let's move on to Zion Kirkland, football player. How would you rate this 1 out of 10, KJ?
I'm going 9 out of 10. I'm messing with the double mouthpiece. I know a lot of players do that now.
All right, 9 out of 10. All right, so now let's move on to baseball player, Rockwell Rouse. He is young. He's in elementary school. So this is his picture. Basically, he's trying to replicate the Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the rings. So KJ, how do you rate this 1 out of 10?
I'm going 10 out of 10. That's tough right there. I can't cap.
10 out of 10. All right, 10 out of 10. All right, so now here's his picture right here. Same person, Rockwell. So KJ, how do you rate this 1 out of 10?
Definitely 8 out of 10. I like the glove that he has.
All right. So now here's his picture right here. Also Rockwell. So how would you rate this 1 out of 10?
Another 8 out of 10.
8. All right. I saw white and 8.
I like the red background he got in the back. Stuff.
Red light. Gotcha. All right. So now here's his picture again. So how would you rate this 1 out of 10?
8.5 out of 10. I like the arm sleeve and the wristband look.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, definitely tough pictures from Rockwell. Tough pictures from him. All right, so now let's move on to Sergio, soccer player, young soccer player, plays for Orlando City. Orlando City, their MLS academy, which is very rare for his age. For soccer, definitely at the top of the top. So KJ, so how do you rate this 1 out of 10?
I like this one. I'm gonna go 8.7 out of 10. I like that he's repping his flag on the back.
Gotcha. Yep, that's his heritage right there from his country. Definitely repping. There you go. All right, so this is Isaiah Smith, young basketball player from California. So KJ, how would you rate this 1 out of 10?
Definitely 8 out of 10. I like the job threes that he has on.
8 out of 10. Yeah, definitely tough sneakers indeed. All right, so now basically same. Oh, KJ, you there? Uh-oh. All right, guys, just technical difficulties. Uh-oh. All right, guys, so just having technical difficulties on KJ's side. Once it gets resolved, we will continue. But this is Isaiah Smith. We interviewed him as of recent. So we interviewed him as of recent. Coach Tony interviewed him as of recent on our show. Past guest from California, basketball athlete. And I believe this was from one of his media day from his travel.
Oh, all right. We're back.
Okay, we're back. All right, we're good. We're good. Okay, KJ. So how do you rate this 1 out of 10?
8 out of 10 again. I like to shoot.
Gotcha. All right. And then last but not least, we got BJJ fighter Hudson Santiago, who we just interviewed not too long ago. So KJ, so how would you rate this 1 out of 10?
I'm going 10 out of 10. I like this one. He got all his medals in his belt. I like this one.
All right, so 10 out of 10. All right, for Hudson Santiago, female BJJ fighter. So definitely very successful. All right, now let's move on to your picks, KJ. And from what I'm seeing from these previews, I think we might have a contender. We might have a few contenders here for that 200th episode. So all right, so basically, you don't need to rate these because obviously it's your pictures. So obviously, when I bring up these pictures. Just give me a little story behind it, all right? Here's this first one. So, all right, so give me a little story behind this one.
This is the Lee County game. This is our most intense game probably all year. I think we won this one by like 3. It was a real back and forth game, and my teammate Josh Jackson hit a 3, and we had this little thing where we throw that up alien film, and I was just in the moment I threw it up.
Gotcha. Yeah. Definitely big 3, you throw whatever you want out there, it's in the moment in the game. All right, gotcha. All right. I'll give me a little story behind this one.
Senior night against Coffee. I think we were walking into halftime, walking to the locker room. Just a calm little shot right there.
All right, so halftime, going to the locker room. So were you guys leading or?
We were up. I think we were up by we won this game by a lot, but I think we were up by 15-10 at this point. No, this one was close. We were up by 6.
Gotcha. All right. So let's move on here. So I'll give me a little story behind this one.
Made a tough layup right here. Got knocked down and just had to flex a little bit.
Gotcha. All right. So was this a school game?
Yeah, school game against Coffee County.
Coffee County. All right. Gotcha. All right. I'll give me a little story behind this one. Oh, wow. I definitely see that football body, that football athlete. Okay. I definitely see it now. Okay, KJ. So give me a little story behind this one.
I think we were playing our rival veterans, and we were beating them pretty bad. And I think somebody hit a 3, and I was just smiling, because we were a little happy.
Gotcha. Hey, when I saw this picture, you kind of remind me of Cohen Carr, that kid from Michigan State. The headband, the body built, definitely Cohen Carr, definitely tough, and he had a good game against Louisville the other night. So Cohen Carr is definitely elite. All right. All right, so let's move on here. So give me a little start behind this one.
We're at the free throw line, and I just looking up at the free throw.
Gotcha. All right, so simple, straight to the point. Gotcha. All right. All right, so same team. All right, so give me a little start behind this one.
This night I had a good game this night, but I could not hit a free throw to save my life. But I was at the free throw line, and I definitely missed this one.
Hmm. All right, so do you plan to improve your free throws?
But yeah, I'm a good free throw shooter. Like during the season, I had a really good free throw shooting, but I just couldn't hit a free throw that night. I could hit I was hitting a bunch of threes and getting mid range pull ups, but I just could not hit a free throw.
So off night.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm assuming this is you at the free throw line. So
Yep.
and what happened here?
Missed.
I didn't want to say it because it kind of looks bad if I said it, you know. So obviously, if you said it, it sounds, you know, not bad. But all right. Hey, it's an off night. You know, move on to the next game. That's all. All right. So give me a little story behind this one.
I think this is another photo from senior night. I think it was an inbounds play, and I was standing there to the side.
Gotcha. Senior night. I actually just witnessed that a few months ago when during my high school season. Yeah, so the jacket I'm wearing now, I got this during my senior night. I go to school down here in South Florida, high school basketball, and I just had my senior night a few months ago. Yeah, so we just ended our season. So definitely senior night. Definitely, KJ, when you get there in about a few years, you know, it's definitely a special night. So KJ, so have you ever thought about that night yet with senior night? You know, with your parents there, obviously everyone watching. So have you thought about that yet, or that's like down the timeline?
That's down the timeline. I haven't really thought about it like that. I'm really just in the present now, trying to make an impact.
Gotcha. All right. So let's move on here. So, all right. So this is you on offense or defense here?
This is defense.
Gotcha. So same team, coffee. All right. So give me a little story behind this one.
We had a defensive possession right here. I was guarding number 10, and I think one of his players was bringing the ball up.
Gotcha. All right. So let's move on here. So give me a little story behind this one.
I think I had just got subbed into the game, and I was just backing up.
All right. So let's move on. So, was this during warm-ups?
Yeah, it was during warm-ups.
Warm-ups, all right. All right, so that's the story, just warm-ups, just like getting ready and stuff?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. All right, so give me a little story behind this one.
I think this is media day, I think, and we decided we were gonna wear gray jerseys, so I was gonna wear like a gray G-Shock to kind of match with the jersey.
Gotcha. All right. So media day again. So I'm assuming different posts. So what made you choose these poses? Just like random?
Yeah, kind of like funny with our teammates, just funny poses.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. So
had to be a serious photo. I didn't really want to take a serious photo, but
I got you. Yeah, definitely some fun, some serious. Obviously, I got to get the best of both worlds. So, all right. So let's move on here. So, give me a little story behind this one.
Another game when we played veterans, our rival, and I hit a deep three right there. I came out that game pretty hot. I had like 7 or 8 straight points back to back. I was hot that game.
And also, it was against your rival. So how's like playing as a freshman, varsity in a rivalry game? So like, how is that like for you?
It's really fun to me. Like playing, I don't like playing games when it's a blowout because like it's not fun. But when it's like rivalry games and it's intense games, I like playing those.
Gotcha. All right. So give me a little story behind this one.
I think this is against TCC, one of our region rivals, and I think I was just looking to make a pass right here.
Got you. A pretty nice gym. You guys got pretty nice gym. You know, the bleachers that I'm seeing there, the court, beautiful. It's a beautiful facility. So, all right. So, do you guys play with shot clock?
Yeah, we do play with shot clock.
All right. All right, because I think with us, for some tournaments that we do high school tournaments, I think we do shot clock like some tournaments, but during the regular season, they haven't input shot clocks yet, but they will in the future because I know they did do something for Florida for shot clocks, so I think that's gonna be implemented in the future. But I see you guys are doing it now, like right now in the present. So, all right, so 60 seconds on the shot clock. So, all right, so how, all right, so how, what's like the number for the shot clock? Like it's 24? Is it like 30?
24.
24? All right, so all right, so give me a little story behind this one.
I got it from my friend over there, number 12, Boogie, and I just went up for a layup, made the layup.
Gotcha. And by the way, KJ, you can give as many shots as you can to teammates, coaches, friends, family. Anybody that's mentioned here, you're more than welcome to give them a shout out. All right. All right. So let's move on here. So there's you again. So give me a little story behind this one.
They were in a zone, I believe, and I don't know why I'm on my tiptoes, but I was trying to look over the defense and make a pass.
Gotcha. So, do you like playing against zone or man?
Man, I hate zone.
Gotcha.
Zones are boring. I'd rather play an aggressive defender against man than playing a zone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because zone is kind of like playing chess, pretty much. It's like you gotta like strategize pretty much and make the right pass, basically for zone. But man, ISO, go to work, put the moves, and then obviously finish. All right. All right, so there's you. So, all right, so give me a little story behind this one.
I don't even know what I was doing here, to be honest. I think I was just I think our cheerleaders just said something to me, and I just looked over and I said something back.
Really? Cheerleaders?
Yeah. Our cheerleaders are funny. They be saying some funny stuff during the game. Sometimes you gotta be like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh yeah, to like the other team or like to you guys too?
To us, to the other team, they be saying funny stuff.
Gotcha. I got you. All right. So give me a little story behind this one.
I think we were on the offense, and I think they were in the zone, and I was on the backside of the defense.
Zone again. All right. Last picture here. Okay, so give me a little story behind this one.
This is my favorite photo I've got all season. I think we were walking out of a timeout, and it was just a good picture in my opinion. I like this picture. I had the armband, I had the wristband, headband. I love wearing my headband, and I had the compressions.
All right, so if you like it, then obviously I like it. So I think it deserves to be in the 200 episode, don't you think?
Yeah.
Don't you think? All right. Gotcha. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's many contenders on here, but definitely that one might be on that. Maybe that one most definitely. So yeah, there's definitely contenders. I'll definitely show my co-hosts. With these pictures. Obviously, this one's the main one. So obviously, I'm gonna show it to him, and then every time, future episodes when we do the voting and stuff, obviously that'll be.
It's either gonna be this one or the first one that we showed when we were playing Lee County by far.
Or the first one. This one.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Definitely, Coach Tony, my co-host, will see which ones, and we'll see which ones will be in it. So I'm pretty sure this will be the one. And if he told me which one do I like, I think it'll be that one to be in it. But there's definitely multiple candidates on there. All right, KJ, very good picture portion. Definitely gives us a little preview to the now video portion. Basically, it basically shows you why you're elite. It shows you it shows you why you're elite, why you're on here. How elite you are as a high school athlete. So, all right, so we got a couple videos here. All right, so we got a couple videos. So let's start with the first one. All right, let's start with the first one. 49 seconds long. Basically, same thing, KJ, with the pictures, story tell. Same thing here. All right, here is the first clip.
Love me, love me, love me, love me, oh baby, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me, yeah, 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 oh baby, love me, oh love me, love me, love me.
All right, very interesting, KJ. So give me a little story behind that one.
That was, I think, our seventh game of the season. So we have a couple rivals. We have veterans, Northside, and then that was Winter Robins. We played them in the first game of the season, and we were supposed to beat them, but they ended up beating us in a very close game. They ended up beating us this time. It was a little bit of a. We had a bad game that night. We had just got our football players back, so we kind of weren't in it. And our two-star players kind of had an off night. But for me, I was having a pretty good night. But we just lost that game right there.
Gotcha. All right, so now let's move on to this minute and 11-second clip. Minute and 11. So here it is. All right, KJ. So the thing's on mute. So so if you want, you can. Okay. So if you want, you can commentate through this one.
Free ball.
That's tough. All right. All right.
Boy, Josh.
All right. So that's your point guard, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So shout out to Josh. Shout out to Josh.
Boogie again.
Mm-hmm.
Hit Big Bray.
Yes, sir. All right.
Pull up.
That's tough. Open that corner shot, like you said, you know, your favorite shot from that corner.
Yeah.
All bangs.
Another one.
There you go. Hey, the middle collapse, the corner, and then you right there open. So, all right. So give me a little story behind that clip.
We had a Saturday game because it got canceled. I think of some rain or something. That's against TCC, somebody in our region. We had a good game this game. I had a real good game this game. I think I was second in our team in scoring this game, and I just hit a lot of threes that game.
Gotcha. Yeah. It definitely looked like in that clip. They give it to the middle, defense collapses, kick it out, and then you're right there for the three all day. All right, so we got 2 more clips to go. Here's this 2-minute 34-second clip. So here it is. All right, KJ. So give me a little story behind that long clip right there. Very interesting clips, though. Very good. So, can you give me?
So the first one we played this was an Adidas tournament right here for Junior 3SSB. First team we played, I think they were called Team Loaded, team from Virginia, real talented team. I think I finished that game with like 22 points, but it was a real intense game, a little bit of pushing and shoving, a little bit of talking, but real fun game right there. And then the second one we played Rajon Rondo's team. We ended up playing his son, Pierre. His son is tough. But I think we lost that game by like 5. No, we lost that game by 2. My fault. Lost that game by 2. I had a good game this game too. I think I had like 17. But they were just a really tall team and they ended up beating us.
All right. Very interesting story there, KJ. And yes, there was definitely that one clip there. You got into his head. You got into his head, popped in his face. That lock-up defense. Yeah, I like that. I love it. Good job, KJ. So now got this next clip. This is the last clip right here, 2 minutes 53 seconds. So, all right, so let's end this off with a bang. 2 minutes 53 seconds. So here it is. All right, KJ. So give me a little story behind that one.
So this is a team that I play with, or I play with still. It's in my hometown, AAU team, with a lot of my friends. We had this tournament in Lake Point in Atlanta, which is a big time tournament in Atlanta. First game against this team, I can't remember the name, but I had a really good game. Me and my friend KT, I think we both combined for like 48 this game together. Had a big time game that one. The second team, I think we ended up losing that game. That team was actually like really good. We couldn't really hit shots. I hit a lot of threes that game, but we couldn't really do nothing that game. the third game or the last game that you just saw right there. I had a real good game that game. I think I finished with like 28, but in the second quarter, I started being face guarded like full court. And my best friend KT, he started having to carry the load. I think he had about 20 that game too. But real good game right there.
Face guard full court. Hey, but that's when you know you're elite. You know, they face guard you full court. Hey, definitely KJ. Hey, those clips right there and then those pictures. Hey, KJ. So this is where I do my analysis of basically of the guest, basically you. Hey, KJ. Now I see why you're playing varsity as a freshman. Hey man, you got that build, you got that strength, and now I'm seeing why you look like Cohen Carr and you play like Cohen Carr. You're that strong, boy. You're strong, and I think there was one clip right there where I saw you were driving, bumped that kid, and that kid went out the baseline. Bro. It's like that's insane, bro. So hey, KJ, keep it up, definitely, and definitely those college coaches would definitely be impressed. They'll definitely be impressed, and hey, keep working and chasing that goal to Villanova. Definitely very possible. So keep on going, KJ. So before we end the show, I have two questions I always ask my guest. I always ask my guests. So the first question is: so you're going out for a tournament out of town. All right. So what are your top 3 sneakers you need to bring on a basketball tournament?
So you gotta have some Crocs or some Uggs. I wear Uggs a lot, so definitely Uggs. Gotta have your basketball shoes. So I think the shoes I'm rocking right now are the Kobe 6. I think some orange Kobe 6s and some Kobe 8s. I think they're called Moonwalkers, the purple ones you saw I was wearing. And then you gotta have an off-court shoe. So I'd say like a comp sneaker, like a Nike P600 or something, or a Jordan, for sure.
All right, got you. All right, so now my second question is: every athlete has a story behind their number. So, what is your number, KJ, and what's that story behind that number?
So I have 2 numbers. Well, I'm gonna have 3 now because I'm rocking number 4 this year with one step away. But number 10, my dad wore that number, and I just wanted to wear that number to honor him. You know, carry the Johnson legacy. And then number 15, I've had that number since I was in 7th grade in middle school, and I'm gonna keep wearing that number through the rest of my high school career.
All right, interesting stories. So we got an hour and 37 on this show. Been a very interesting show, KJ. So I think we have time for some trivia, don't you think?
Yeah.
All right. So here. So I'm gonna do one trivia because I think we have time for one trivia. So KJ, can you name all the NBA teams?
All right. So
okay, wait. But I'm gonna share my screen for this one because it's gonna be. I gotta type it. So I'm gonna pull up the trivia, the NBA trivia. But you know, when people get asked, you know, can you name all 30 teams? Well, people say yes, but can they actually name all 30 like in 5 minutes? So I'm gonna have the thing right here. The thing's actually 6 minutes now, not 5 minutes. So I will be sharing my screen, KJ, so that you can see it, and for the people that are watching can see. So let's see here. All right, let me close these random ads that are showing up. All right, I'll be sharing my screen in 3, 2, 1. All right, KJ, so do you see it?
yeah, I can see it.
All right, 6 minutes, as you can see.
Wait, so I have to get it like in the Atlantic and Central because I don't really know them ones. I just know all teams.
Oh no, basically, so when I press play quiz, it's gonna say name the team. So basically, you can just name the teams, obviously, and then when I put the team, it's gonna automatically put in divisions. So yeah, yeah. Obviously, people are not gonna know it by divisions because I don't even know the teams by division. But all I'm gonna do is just type the team, and then it's gonna automatically put it in the divisions. All right. Okay, KJ, you ready? In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay, Sixers.
Chicago Bulls.
Bulls, boom.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Bucks.
Charlotte Hornets.
Hornets, yes.
Miami Heat.
The Heat, yes.
Lakers.
Lakers, yes.
New York Knicks,
The Knicks, yes.
San Antonio Spurs,
Spurs, yes.
Utah Jazz,
Jazz, yes.
Dallas Mavericks,
Mm-hmm.
Orlando Magic,
The Magic.
Brooklyn Nets,
The Nets, yes.
Miami Heat,
Oh, you already said the Heat.
Charlotte Hornets. I see Charlotte Hornets. I
Yeah.
did. Wizards, Washington
There you go.
Wizards,
The Wizards.
Oklahoma City Thunder,
The Thunder, yes.
Minnesota Timberwolves,
Timberwolves, yes.
Houston Rockets.
The Rockets, yes.
I'm missing teams. Sacramento Kings,
Kings, there you go.
Memphis Grizzlies,
The Grizzlies, there you go.
Phoenix Suns,
Suns, yes.
Atlanta Hawks,
The Hawks, yes.
Boston Celtics,
Celtics, yes.
Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cavs, yes.
Thinking. Said Rockets. It's another team. I'm stuck now.
It's all right. It's all right. You got time. You got time.
Nah. Hey, I got stuck. I got six. I got 8 more. I'm missing somebody. Let me see. Boston Celtics, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Washington. So Denver Nuggets.
Nuggets, there we go. Do you need a clue?
Yeah, give me a clue.
Okay, they're the number 1 seed right now in the East.
Oh, Detroit Pistons.
Pistons, there we go.
All right. Detroit Pistons.
Okay, right now they're one of the worst teams in the league right now. They're down south.
Down south. So towards us. You said they're one of the worst teams?
Yeah, they're one of the worst. But they did have one of the best high school and college players of all time. Cajun food.
New Orleans. There you go.
Pelicans, there you go. Okay.
So I do have Houston. All right, so I have San Antonio, New Orleans, Memphis, Houston, Dallas, Washington, Orlando, Miami, Charlotte, Atlanta, Sacramento, Phoenix, Lakers, Bucks, Detroit, Cleveland, Bulls, 76ers, Knicks, Nets, Celtics, Utah Jazz, Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets. 5 more.
Okay, so this team's from the Pacific Northwest. Let's see here.
Portland Trailblazers.
Trailblazer, there we go. Boom. There you go.
All right.
Let's see, under 2 minutes.
All right, so I'm missing 4.
Okay, you're missing a team from Canada.
Oh, Toronto. How did I forget? Brandon Ingram. Toronto. So now I'm missing 3.
Okay, you're definitely missing an important team from last year. They made the playoffs. They made a deep run in the playoffs. Actually, a very deep run.
Deep run last year. Like how deep? Like
Finals.
Let's see. Indiana. Whoa. Tyrese Halliburton.
Pacers. Yes.
All right, so now
2 from the West. Okay, so you're definitely missing somebody from Southern California. Well, 2 teams from California here.
Clippers, and
Oh my gosh, come on.
Golden State Warriors.
Bingo.
Got him.
Bingo. There we go. Hey, good job, KJ. Good job. All right. All right, KJ. Hey, that was fun, man. 30 out of 30, KJ. Let's go. There we go. 30 out of 30. And how about let's end it on that note? All right, let's end it on that note. Beautiful note. And forgot to put the banner, but that's all right. All right, guys. Very fun episode here. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon on YouTube. Here we are live on YouTube. So please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you get notified of when we go live. Also, follow our Instagram at Be Ready Sports Podcast. That's where we post sports news, podcast clips, anything related within the podcast will be on Instagram. So please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon on YouTube, and then also to follow on the Instagram for sports news, podcast clips, anything related with that. Silent Fear Down Online. This is Theron West II's clothing line, a previous guest of ours. So this is his clothing line, Silent Fear Down Online. Go check it out. Football athlete from California. You can donate to Zelle, not Cash App, at 954-664-8962. This is where you can donate to the show. All proceeds of the show will go towards the show to make it better and just to upgrade the show. So you can donate to Zelle, 954-664-8962. Pickup Portal. Sean from Pickup Portal was just here a few weeks ago to speak about his business and the updates of his business. Basically, if you're a coach that needs a player for that weekend, you're down some players, coach can just go into the Pickup Portal, pick up the players that he needs for the weekend and replace those with the players that will be absent. Then if you're a player that wants to join the portal, you could put yourself in the portal and get connected with a coach. The active sports right now for Pickup Portal are baseball, softball, and basketball. So if you're a part of those sports, pickupportal.com. You can subscribe to Keelyn Velez, the first soccer player we interview on this channel, episode 4. Coach Tony interviewed him back in episode 4, so you can subscribe to Keelyn Velez. That is his YouTube channel at CV7 Rocket on YouTube. It's William Miller. This is his website, episode 90. Coach Tony interviewed him back in episode 90. Combat athlete, motivational speaker, great guest to have on episode 90. So you guys can check out his website. It's williammiller.com. Subscribe to Remy Payne, his YouTube channel. This is at Remy Game Football 5250. First athlete actor on the show. So here is Remy Payne's YouTube channel at Remy Game Football 5250. Rockwell's Journey. Baseball player that we just had this show not too long ago. Here's Rockwell's Journey. This is YouTube channel at Rockwell's Journey on YouTube. Last but not least, we have Guy Dama. This is Hudson Santiago, BJJ, female artist, female fighter. This is her brand, guydama.com. That is her brand. You guys can check her out on there. All right, KJ. Were you able to see the private chat on about how we do the intro?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's how we do the intro, and then KJ stay for the wrap up once we wrap up the show, so that we can do a little wrap up of stuff. All right, guys, that is the end of the show. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys next time in 3, 2, 1. To be ready,
so you can stay ready.
and we out, y'all. We'll see you next time. All right, guys, we out.